very pleased to be here with Sonja Manhart. Sonja, good to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you. And it's been really good to be on the this bioenergy healing course. And you've probably seen quite a lot of these courses because you are you're a healer. And so tell me a little bit about your journey, and what it is that you do now, just in a nutshell.
Yeah, I kind of was always looking for something like that, but I don't easily trust.
Right.
You know, there's so much rubbish and bullshit, as Zoran would call it out there, that
so you were looking
I was very careful.
As something professional?
Not something to start on myself,
right.
and family and stuff. I was interested, but then kind of got scared away by, sounds dodgy. Not quite.
So when it's something for you, people you knew.
I've done a Reiki course, and then I thought, why would someone impose symbols on you? Why does it need all of it? It's too complicated.
Okay. Why
Why would it need that? Someone else giving you the kind of, they're not God, why do they need to give you the kind of sanctus to do something, right. You know? And then along came Zoran, and I sat in this, I watched his Think About It production, and I signed up for the course, and I didn't even check the dates, it was just there. I signed up, paid for it, no doubt, oh, I've got something on that weekend. I can shift. It will happen. It was another course and the final exams, and it had to shift for it.
And how long ago was this?
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
So I'm sitting in there in the seminar thinking, you see, for real, it's that simple, you know. And he was just like very straight down the line. There's no bullshit, there's no crap. It's just awesome. It's so simple, and you go, even when you try it on each other, you can see straight away. You see a result, you know. And what I've come to learn over the last 6 or 7 years, whatever time with him, was that's all you need. There is no need for proof. He will go the opposite way of doing advertising because the results speak.
Right. So you're just saying the actual results of what people are finding from their own.
People will heal by hearing a story. Oh, this helped me. Go there.
Yeah.
But it's about people. I think the journey is not about proving the method because we know it works. We see it every day. We work every day. It's about creating that awareness for people that actually it's your responsibility.
Yeah,
it helped you. Can you go and tell someone else and not look away?
Well, one thing that I found interesting just from the few days is that one thing that struck me is that lots of people have come here from all sorts of different places, and some person, a relative has been here, or a friend's been here, or some people have come together. And one of the things that struck me was that, wow, if people could, if two partners or two friends could come along a course like this and they've got some skills that help them, that they can look after their own health and well-being.
And I think it's the vision of Mr. Domancic, and Zoran tries to take that out to the world, you know, to kind of have someone in the family. You know, it took some educating my family to say, look, before you swallow a pill, just call up, because 10 times out of 10 I can help you, and then there's a call, maybe 9 times out of 10.
So tell me then again, maybe that's a good point to zoom into what's happened in your case. You saw this, you were looking for some kind of type of healing for yourself.
Yeah, I didn't even look at something to make it my profession, but after doing level 1, you felt the responsibility, thinking I can't keep that to myself.
And the level 1, there's 3 levels.
That's the course that you're doing now, you know, so there's 3 levels. The second one is there's no new techniques. Everything you will need to work on people, you get in level 1. There's nothing is kept back.
So you found that once you've done level 1, you thought, hang on a minute, well actually I can do this. This is something that I can use. So what happened?
So if that is all it takes to help someone, you know, and I had a woman who had what do you call it, asthma, since she was 13, taking steroids, having a son as a result with 2 separated brain halves. She couldn't have a conversation with a boy, you know.
Oh, let's get. Zoran's just walked in,
she saw the asthma go on the 2nd day. She forgot to use the pump to take the steroids. On day 3, I asked her, so how's the asthma? Because, you know, you ask how people progress within the 4 days. And she says, what asthma?
So how soon was this after you had gone on your course? Was this?
That was the week after.
This is the week after. Yeah. So the week after you were practicing it, and it worked. And it worked. So I mean, so it's really. I mean, I think one of the things that's interesting about this for me, and Zoran, we're just talking a little bit about on day 1. We had a little bit about chat about yourself, your story, filmmaking, making this film on Mr. Domancic, and then everything else. That the rest is history in a way. Yesterday we've heard from yourself and a couple of people who've been called here for different reasons. Somebody personally, somebody else who meditation, yoga, and so on. And it's been quite nice now just to talk to Sonja itself, who's been on the course, now as a professional kind of therapist, and you were talking about how easy that was, and that bit about kind of responsibility. And one of the things I was saying that is quite interesting, one of the things that struck me is that how powerful if somebody could come along with their partner, with their friend, and to be able to heal each other. That completely changes the whole dynamic of healing. Is that?
Well, dynamic of healing and the dynamic of the family. Of the relationship. You know, the whole relationship will change.
Right. And is that what really this is ultimately about, just changing people's whole relationship to their health and their well-being?
It's about so much more, I think, than we trust to envision. Anything you can envision about this, it is probably 100-fold. Things we don't know.
It is about well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Like, about all aspects of well-being, not just physical well-being, not just emotional well-being, but social, economic. This is all well-being. It's all one. It's all connected. You cannot be healthy if you're unhappy for whatever reason.
Yeah, quite right. And I think one of the things I loved about today, and it came through in all of the days, as well as the teaching about the particular the protocols, the steps, But one thing that's really interesting is the life, talking about life, healing, well-being, and that interconnectedness. There was a lovely moment today. You were also talking a little bit, and you touched a little bit about the science. In a way, I don't want to go into the science, but what's quite interesting was that you were talking a little bit about, I guess, that about how all of these things kind of mean in an everyday, pragmatic kind of way in terms of the science of well-being.
Well, I think that at this point, what is the actual essence of this whole story is that science, or however you want to approach it, actually doesn't matter. If the science will one day understand and will know, and whoever, but that's on them to do. Whatever they want to find out, that's up to them. For us, it's important that you do this for a certain amount of time, for 4 days, and there are visible changes, measurable, even scientifically if you want, or whatever, a blood test or something. There is a difference. You go, you have somebody with AIDS, you have somebody with the leukemia, you do the 4 days treatment, and there is actual measurable change. That's all. It's actually important in this story. The scientists, where, why, how, and that is up to the science to research if they need to research, and that's fine for us. All we need to know is that if we do this, there are results.
One of the things the messages, and one of the things that struck me actually from this is how much how much knowledge about the body, the health, healing, and so on you've got. Where did that knowledge come from? Because you were a filmmaker. So, do you know what I mean? Not to say that filmmakers don't have that other kind of.
It came.
So the knowledge, the kind of knowledge that
knowledge comes.
Came. Because I guess also from an individual's point of view, what you know is that you're hurting. There's a loved one who's hurting, and perhaps what you've tried doesn't work, or you're worried about whatever the effects. I love when you were talking the other day. You were saying when you're talking about taking certain drugs. Let's not talk about something, we're talking about the effects of that. So I guess there's lots of people, this is very real for them. Here's my situation, I'm wanting something that works for me.
But the really great thing about this method, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what type of lupus or cancer or whatever it is, you tell me where's the problem in your body, and the energy will find its way anyway, we just get it there quicker.
We don't do it.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's what
it's just story in there that's holding up the whole process because people are caught up in the story.
And it's very similar in my work. It's interesting hearing you. I just hear huge parallels in the course because everything is one. Most of the time somebody comes to me with their particular life story. This is going on. This is going on. I should be here. I should be there. Story. It's fine to have that kind of story, but it's a story. A series of sensations and events and so on that somebody labels good, bad, or indifferent. And once you get somebody with a still and quiet mind, their whole perspective of themselves, life, and it shifts in absolutely moment because they're more still, they're more at peace with everybody else. More importantly, they're at peace with their mind, and therefore that has a healing therapeutic impact because somebody's
it goes under the intellectual well-being.
Yeah. So what was really interesting was a bit also earlier on where you were talking about the fact that with most issues that anybody has, from a headache through to far more serious things that happen, it's actually too much or too little energy and how it is kind of almost manifested. And that was really fascinating to kind of hear, and it makes so much sense in many ways.
So all your problems are just the manifestations of imbalance, of your imbalance versus your environment, which is yourself as well, and wherever you live, and your relationship with nature, which again you are a part of. We can't distinguish these two things.
But when you look at too much and too little, it's not threatening. When you say it's good and it's bad, people get scared, and they make people run for no reason, because there's no need.
All you have to do is take every condition. If we go back to just health, every single condition can be reversed. Whatever the body does, the body can undo. Why it didn't, that's a different thing, but it doesn't matter.
And I think this bit is really, again, very, very fascinating. That, again, one of the things that you've talked about is that very often, in terms of how, in the West, and it's quite recent, how we then address health is by, let's say, putting in a pill or whatever. But what you're making the point is that, ultimately, the body has got to do its own healing. So if you're putting something else in, the body may not, you're talking about, may not remember its own ways to do whatever it needs to do. And this seems to be a really important point when it relates to health, isn't it?
See, they are doing the same thing, or trying to do the same thing as we are, just in a different way. Yeah. It's just that our way is much less invasive and much less, they don't have the side effects, or not side effects, it's effects. Yeah. So they just, there's different ways of getting there, but if something works versus something doesn't work, why not go with something that works?
And what's have you sensed a change in people, or a change in mood in terms of the kind of people who are coming through the door? One of the things that strikes me in my work is that more and more people having to stop, look, who they are, what they're doing, on every single level, all of these different levels, health, psychology, career, all the rest of it. Have you noticed a change in people over the years that you've both been doing? Have you noticed a change in what the kind of people are coming through the door, what people are wanting, and where they're at in their beingness, if you like?
Yes and no, because we always have new people coming. Yeah. The people that change usually don't need to come back. Yeah. They're on a different path. Of course, yeah. And so we don't know what happens to people. I mean, obviously, if they don't have a need to come to see us, then they don't, and why should they?
Because our focus is to get rid of them in 4 days,
And don't want them to come back.
Spread the words, talk about it. That's really the responsibility, and that's the message people have to work on. Go, if it helped you, tell someone else. Right. You see someone suffering, why are you not telling them?
Right, I see.
So
that's
not
the
hooking
focus.
them to come back to ask for treatments and use, I don't know, impose threats or impose fear to have them keep running. No, 4 days, hallelujah.
So that somebody can, if they've learned the skills, if they want to come back, they can come back for the next step. They're wanting to do that professionally, but many people would just...
Well, there are big changes when they come from level 2, from level 1. I mean, they are literally a different person. Everybody that's going to leave this seminar is going to be a different person. I mean, not necessarily with green hair, but they're going to be a different person. Yeah. And this is going to keep on going. And it changes, things cause other things to happen. It's nothing is final, because we are constantly, every minute, every second, reacting and interreacting with our environment, which includes ourselves. So as something changes, then everything else changes. I mean, and we are constantly.
It's ping pong, isn't it?
Yeah, we keep that. Yeah, we keep interacting with our environment all the time. So after a seminar, after a new knowledge was given to you, or you understand or grasp it, you will become different.
And that must be just beautiful to see the organicness of that. I mean, one of the things that I think that I've really enjoyed from this whole weekend is the organicness. When I've been chatting to different people about them, their story, this is what happened, I came along here, and that's a natural flow as so often happens. And then, as has happened for both of you, come along, and then think you're just coming on, and then suddenly life changes and career.
It is a life-changing experience, but we are using the life force G-prime. This is life itself. So if the life will not change your life, what will? And it's always a self-change.
Wonderful. For somebody who's perhaps been watching this, I have all sorts of people watching all sorts of things, and they're perhaps a point where they're feeling either, you know, I'm worried about my own particular health. One of the things that's interesting, for example, the last session you were talking about a number of the health complaints that particularly are become more and more pronounced in recent times. Things like diabetes, people who will often have stress-related challenges, migraines that recur, you know, the kind of things that often many people have when they've got very busy city, Western. If you've got something like that, or somebody who's just on any level that they're thinking, this is interesting to me, but perhaps a bit like what you were saying before, I don't know where it is to turn. I'm a little bit scared or apprehensive about what would you say to that person in terms of, I guess, first and foremost, their own health and their own well-being, what journey they might need to go on. Perhaps it's for them, perhaps they've got a loved one and they're wondering what to turn to, because usually the thing is that I should go through this particular tour, I should go to the doctor, I should just trust what's going on, I've got to send this person to hospital to have a very serious set of treatments or whatever, or I've already got somebody at the moment who's in hospital, but this sounds interesting, a different path. What would you begin to say to somebody who's kind of curious, but I guess afraid or apprehensive?
Well, I would tell them that nobody can heal your body, which includes the soul and emotions. Nobody can heal you but yourself, which, you know, not to misunderstand with, oh, I need some self-healing. Self-healing is a different way of thinking and acting. That will self-heal you. And so when they are looking for a specific thing to go to, that means that they are looking for somebody else to take the responsibility for them. So, well, if that worked, then let's say wealthy people will be healthy because they can experience and buy any kind of a healer, doctor, surgeon, whatever. But it doesn't work that way. It is a self-responsibility. So once nobody will be able to do it for them. We can show them the path, we can facilitate that process, but the process still has to happen. They still have to go down the path. They won't. Nobody can do it for you. So they can help you, and somebody can help you more and do no damage, or somebody can do that. But you still have to do it yourself. And this is what people don't like to hear.
And that's what you see with patients that come back with things. You know, it clears, and then they come back with the same thing. Maybe not as bad, but it come back. And when you say to them, you have to look at your life, the people you live with, the job you do. Do you hate it and go there on a daily basis because you think you have to? You don't even try an avenue, trying out something new, because it's scary.
And this is wonderful what you're saying, because I guess this is the bit which is about health. You make the distinction between health and, let's say, when you're doing something which is just to try and cure something very specific. When you're talking about overall health and well-being.
Exactly.
Because normally we have a problem and we fix it. Once it's a bit like a car. Once a problem emerges, we're going to go and have it serviced. Once a problem, we have it serviced. But we don't necessarily think about...
No, you have someone else service it. And that's why it doesn't work. You know, if you could actually recognize that it has to start here. It's my responsibility. It's me getting enough sleep, getting enough water, getting healthy food.
The car that has a better maintenance doesn't break down.
Right. And what's lovely about this, I know that from practically, people can't literally do these particular techniques on themselves, but their awareness of it makes a huge difference. And then the fact that they often might be practicing on others and vice versa. There's a lovely ecosystem, just like any kind of
caring. If you're looking
caring.
at other people get better, boost your immune system.
Right.
So you should do it every day, you know.
And then, you know, you ask me, how do you know this? How do you learn this? You all of a sudden know. It's not a booming voice coming down, but you know. And you know, the truth, the closer you are to the truth, there's only one truth, guys, and it is whether you believe it or not. But the closer you are to the truth, the closer you are to health, to well-being. Every well-being, so physical, emotional, economical, intellectual, that's all well-being. And that comes from the truth. There's only one truth.
Wonderful. Well, I don't think there's anywhere else to take that after that, but I just want to thank you very much for inviting me here. I want to, and for taking time out. I know that you're going to be going back into the final session of today. It's been a real pleasure. And for me, it's always, and I just also want to say for me, in my work, the people who I've always loved meeting, and many people I've worked with, the teachers, the leaders, and the healers, and often they're one. And that work is so important. I have to say, in order for the healing in the world that we see, that we feel that we want to take place, which is a mental thing, because the world's fine, as you also said, you know, then the healers need to take the place. But first of all, those healers need to do their healing. So what I love about what you're doing here is that here's a space where people come, those healers, they do their healing, and they're ready so they can be in the world to do whatever it is that they're meant to be doing, so that they can be doing their thing, their magic.
And it's their responsibility.
It's their responsibility. Sometimes we think we're singers or actors or filmmakers or whatever, but then we find what we're actually about, and we're in that harmony and we're doing what we're doing. So I just want to thank you very much for for doing the work that you're doing. And it's been lovely hearing the stories of people who, for me, actually just seeing the stories of people who've come here for whatever reason. Some of them have seen improvements in loved ones. But for me, the magical thing is that people are here, as you're saying, partly also for themselves so that they can be more mindful about health and well-being and then the health and well-being of others. And that in itself, I think, is something magical. So I think that I've discovered something even more magical, which is that. And it's very, very simple and it's very profound. Yeah, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure. We're going to turn the camera. Yeah. Oh yeah, movies. I'm always up for the movies. And I'm going to just leave you to smile, look at the camera. I'm just going to turn the camera. Thank you so much. I'm wishing you all the best. And thank you again. Take care.
All right.